Hey, what's going on, guys? Tabasa here. I hope you're having a good Friday. Today's entry is from September 25th, 2024 at 12:49 a.m. Although I don't see myself giving up to anything I do, today's theme was just that, giving up. I had heard from 3 different people today saying, I give up. Personally, this saddens me because I wish to see those around me succeed in life. There have been times in which I have given up. Nowadays, the only way I give up on something is if I observe my physical or mental abilities for a task and can logically conclude that whatever outcome I'm trying to achieve is quite literally impossible. But there have been a few times in which I just straight up give up and take an easy route. Furthermore, I have had times where I didn't look back at what I could have done to prevent giving up because I just didn't care. My mind had been shrouded in misery and self shame, to which I wasn't motivated to try and at least learn from failing. I used to be afraid of failing. I was so critical of myself to the point in which I'd punched my thigh repeatedly just for dying in a video game. With time, however, I've learned that failing is okay and that it's only natural to do so. My dad described failing to me once, saying, failing just stands for first attempt in learning. Never has such a phrase moved me as this one did. After some time, I learned to take responsibility for my failures and owning up to them. I also became more willing to just try things I've never done before, like being more me in public. Overcoming my fear of failure is what allowed me to not just give up. 1:12 p.m. Yeah, this century is about failure, and it is about the idea of giving up. And it's a weird situation, kind of that I described earlier, because you would think that, not giving up on a problem and trying to get it done and trying to solve it, if, for instance, in homework, like you're trying to be perfect, you're trying to get every single question done, get everything right. If you try and do that, you're going to reach a point maybe where you can't solve a certain problem or you don't have the knowledge to do so. And so that becomes quite literally a logical barrier in which you have to put it down and have time pass by in order to ask those questions to a professor or something. Because if you just sit there saying, oh, I'm not going to give up, I'm not going to give up on this problem because I have to solve it, then you're just going to end up sitting there for so long looking up things and trying to cross-reference stuff from the internet that isn't technically correct because you're supposed to do it this way, not this way. And so it gets very convoluted if you don't know when the proper time to give up is. I do it a lot now with some of my homework because I will be going through a question and there will be a point in which I get to where I'm like, okay, I don't understand this. What is the question asking me? And so, I write down a couple notes, I jot down some of my ideas, and then if I still can't get to a certain point or understand something, I'll put a question mark off to the side and notify myself, hey, next time you see the professor, ask this question. Because I'm not going to want to spend the hour or two stress-induced, anxiety-induced that I need to get this done. Like, I need to get this question done when it doesn't have to be. The homework's not due until however long, and that's because I work on my homework early. And for those of you who might be thinking, well, if failure stands for first time in learning, then why do I keep failing at this? And it's not that the act of failing is able to be repeated. It's the fact that you're picking up and taking the initiative to learn from it. Because if I'm in a sword battle, right, and I'm just practicing my sword skills, and the guy puts the blade to my neck and says, you're too slow, and then we do it again, and he's like, you're still too slow. I failed twice, but I haven't picked up on the fact that, hey, I need to be faster with my blade. And so it's not until I actually try something new in which, hey, I'm faster now, in which there might be a different outcome. I might not necessarily find success in it. I might swing like this, open myself up because I'm trying to swing so fast, but I've at least learned something in that, hey, I need to not be slow doing this. If I'm slow doing this, the blade's going to hit me every single time, and I'm not going to win the sword fight. And so it's taking the initiative to learn from failing that makes failing stand for the first time in learning or first attempt in learning. And so that is something that I have carried with me for a while, and is something that has helped me combat my urges to be a perfectionist at times. Because as a kid, I used to want to solve every question on the homework as soon as it's assigned. And I still do the same thing, but I have the foresight of being, hey, I'm not going to be able to solve all of these most likely. So although I'm doing it early as possible, I'm probably not going to get it done because I'll have questions to ask, and then I can go refine them. So in other words, realize that giving up isn't a terrible thing to do at times when you can recognize your own abilities, and that you should try to not give up when you do have those capabilities. An example of this is back in my freshman year of college. I had wanted to become a master in arenas for Apex Legends. And Apex Legends for me is one of my favorite games of all time. And when I was playing arenas, I was setting a pretty high bar for myself, saying, hey, I want to get Masters, which is the second highest rank from Apex Predator. However, if you're a Masters, they take the tops they take the top 750 Masters and make you an Apex Predator. So I set out on that journey, and it was a grind. It was utter hell. Like I said, I had punched my thigh because I have died in a video game. And no, that behavior is not acceptable, and I've learned to get better with how I deal with my anger issues when it comes to playing video games and my rage moments. I didn't give up because I knew I was capable of learning from my mistakes and from my failures in order to become better. And become better I did, because during that season, which was season 10, I did indeed reach Masters with I think like 3 days left or something. It was an insane grind. I played like 1,000 games or 1,200 games. And I can tell you that in those 1,200 games that I played, I never gave up. I kept pushing. I knew I could do it. And I grew so much as a player because of my determination to not give up. And a similar thing can be said in season 17 of Apex Legends, because that was the season in which I had enough free time to become an Apex Predator. Now, was it a huge time sink? Yes, it was like a second job. I kid you not. Apex Predator at this point is just like a novelty at this point, which is why I don't play ranked anymore in Apex. However, during that time, I never gave up. I wanted to be consistent. I learned from my mistakes, whether it was just me personally learning or my teammates calling me out. And I held myself accountable, saying, hey, I need to fix this. I need to learn from it. And that way we can win more games. So with that being said, I hope that you are motivated to tackle any goal that you have that you know is achievable, that people doubt, saying, oh, you can't do that. Yes, you can. It just takes time and effort. The only time that you would need to consider it is if you know from the literal laws of nature that you cannot do it, right? I can't run as fast as Usain Bolt. Maybe I can if it's in my genes, but I don't wear jeans anymore. Last time I wore jeans was like years ago, which is crazy. I think jeans are uncomfortable. I like my slacks a lot more. Anyway, I'm going to leave you guys to it. You guys have a great weekend. Remember, don't do drugs. Look both ways before you cross the street. Buckle up. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.